You really learned a lot today. You learned how to heal water. You learned how black holes are created, how to quantum jump. You learned how to
make the best out of every situation.
Like, you learned how you should react when strangers are fucking with you. Like, you learned a lot of stuff. Thank you.
We have some watermelon, basil, lemonade with lime. Very good. And ice. And of course water. But even the water is special. St. Leonard's Lichtquelle. I really appreciate this kind of water.
Hoppala. You see the water?
Kossi also really appreciates it. He already made a post on Insta for it. Just an appreciation of this water, because when you drink high quality water, you will really taste it. That's for sure. We have an expensive taste.
And you will also feel it.
You will feel it. Your body will thank you for it. If you don't know about this topic, then please look into it. It's really like about the poor quality of drinking water, which you wouldn't expect, but it's quite severe. What I also like about this water, let's not forget, is that they put intention to it. This is the light water.
It's literally light water. There's also sun water, moon water, full moon water. Very nice.
I love the full moon water. They only take it from the spring on the full moon. So that's why it's a full moon water. And you know we love a good intention. Because they are heavy on the fact that water, that water saves information.
Yes. Still a lot of people don't know that water saves information. And also, that's the thing, what I showed you was the crystal from Emoto. I think that's a Japanese science guy who discovered that water has crystals if the water is so-called healthy. So
the water responds with the crystals.
The crystals also, they change their form, depending on, like, you can literally heal the water. That's the thing. You can heal the water by, for example, letting it flow through circular movement. But, for example, in
motion.
Motion. Motion keeps the water clean.
Flow.
But the thing is, hustle and flow. But the thing is, in big cities like Berlin, or just in nowadays societies, the pipes are like very structured, They are also stagnant. Yes, they're not feminine. They're very masculine, They're like, so the water cannot flow properly. So it dies on the way to your sink.
It's not a spring at all. And like I said, the water can't even flow properly through those stagnant pipes because they are so polluted with dirt, drugs, chemicals, hormones. It's really disgusting.
You know what I have to tell you was really frightening? In our shower, we always have a lot of mold. We have to deal with a lot of mold. But
we have to actively work against mold.
Yeah, it's a hustle, man. It's like, if you don't clean the bathroom 1 week, you'll be like, yo, there's some mold coming. And that's the thing. You see it on, so-called in German, we say black on white, schwarz auf weiß. You see it literally.
You see the contrast.
You see literally the contrast when you don't clean your bathroom properly. So that already means that the dirt is in the water, That's how you see how dirty the water is, because normal water shouldn't mold just in a couple of weeks.
Yes, it is the water that molds. It is not the uncleanliness of our bathroom. Nope. Because we really have to clean actively against the water.
Clean, man. I'm king.
The way he cleans the bathroom, he doesn't allow me to clean it. We both know he cleans it better. He's like Waschanlage.
And that's the funny thing, you never saw how I cleaned the bathroom. Sometimes I think scrub is the right word. I scrub so much. I start to sweat, because it's really exhausting. But
I'm so glad that you don't let me do this kind of work, because
the dirt doesn't get off, Like, it's really, this water is dead. Like, this water is really dead. For example, we just came straight from Turkey. Shout out to Turkey. We just came straight from Turkey and we've been on vacation. I talked to her. I said, like, yo, the water here in Turkey is not like physically clean. You can see that there's some dirt particles inside. Like when you
mud,
it's like organic
minerals.
It's like just organic dirt.
Yeah.
But my skin was fabulous.
Yes.
My skin was perfect.
It healed so fast.
Like my skin, I didn't have to always put some lotion on my skin after a shower. But in Germany, like when I don't put any lotion on my skin after a shower, like my skin is dead.
Dry.
That's crazy. So
you need like the 3 layers of cocoa butter after every single shower.
Exactly, and it's really exhausting. But there you see that you could say the Western world is more focused on the outside than the inside, because from outside the water looks perfect. The water looks amazing. You don't see any dirt.
And from the outside, they also tell you that the quality of the water in Germany is very good.
Yes.
That's something that's very external, but they don't tell you that internally, when you look at the water under a microscope, it is dead and polluted.
Like, it also depends on the city,
Absolutely.
Example,
we're talking about Berlin here.
In Munich, the water is better, but still, I think in general, in whole Germany, like the water is not good.
Still, in general, it's not as good as people say it is, because they drink from the sinks, but I wouldn't recommend doing that to anybody.
Yes.
Honestly. But that's just me. I know people can survive off of it. I know there's people who don't have no issues with that, and I love that for them. But me, I'm someone who's just so focused on high quality within everything in my life. So I definitely look at one of the few things that I use every single day so much that I need to survive, otherwise I die, is the water and the food.
What's funny? Like, Lizzie's always complaining that we don't have a bathtub. So she can't take a bath, but I'm just thinking...
I would never take a bath here.
She would never take a bath here, this dirty as water.
Nah, this dirty as... Nah, these pipes, let me not run no bath water, like...
Hey, I think we should start our episodes like this all the time. Like, we don't... I think we can start to introduce ourselves in the mid.
Okay,
we should start talking, because
I thought the same.
Nowadays it's important what you listen to in the first seconds. So if you watch
But like I said today, we are healing artists and we are also the philosophers of our time. So I'm not here to be a business kind of person and make a business out of YouTube. I'm here to be an artist who speaks up and is meant to be heard by the right people. So this is also how we create our podcast. And let me switch the topic to what we want to share today. What we want to talk about is our YouTube journey, because we have quite lost a bit direction in our journey because of a few things that we're going to mention today. And one of the things was definitely trying to approach our YouTube journey from a business point of view. Because even though we know YouTube is a business and we understand how the business works and we're also using the business of YouTube, we still approach the business differently as artists who have their focus on the realness of the conversation. My focus with these conversations is really on those people who understand this flow, who understand this level of depth, of intimacy. And sometimes I believe in the beginning I was not so certain who I direct my words to. And now that I have found back to myself, because I quite lost myself a bit here and there when we had a little YouTube break for a good reason, personally, I really found back to myself during that time, especially in Turkey. Our vacation that we can talk about was very, very good and very spiritual. So many integrations that finally happened there because we were just living such a natural life compared to here.
Türkiye. Yes, keep going.
So, yeah, now I feel really back at myself again. That's why I'm sitting here in front of the camera and speaking to my audience who is familiar with my essence. And I was kind of unfamiliar with my own essence lately. And like I swam a bit far away from the center of myself.
Then try to swim back, but you get a cramp.
Yeah, and you become stagnant and you're like, I need to stay like this. I just lay on my back on the water, otherwise I drown.
It's so funny, man. Life is only about metaphors, you know.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what she did in Kabak in the ocean. You swam outside, then wanted to swim back, but then she got a cramp. She's like, oh, was that cramp? Something. I don't even know what it was.
I had a cramp in my stomach on the right side.
Like, what is Schluckauf in English? I don't know.
Ich hatte keinen Schluckauf.
Yeah, Schluckauf?
No.
Okay.
I had a cramp on my right side and the muscle of my belly on the side muscle. I don't know what this muscle is called. Please look it up.
I will.
I had a cramp and it was very painful because, I thought...
Spirit was like, chill.
Spirit was like, breathe.
Sit down.
Spirit was like, breathe. Many times in this trip, it was so spiritual because Spirit was just directly talking to me through my experience and I could hear so clearly. Finally, because I don't allow myself to hear as clearly in the big city because the shit that I hear in the city is frightening. Like there's shit I just don't want to know. And as a psychic, I close up because it's really a playground with many extremes. And that's just my psychic protection, is just in the city. I rather reserve my spiritual integration for time and nature.
Yes. Yes.
Because it is so deep and profound, it enlightens also my life in the city. And then I take the strength I get from there to the city life and use the opportunity that I have in the city that I don't have in the Outback. It's a balance, it's a play, it's a flow. Yeah, the teaching of the flow was so real. And little backstory, why we went to Turkey is because I initiated it. Because for me, it was clear I'm being called by the waters. And I just had to find a way to the water. So we looked for some flights and just randomly picked some places. And then we saw the flights were more expensive than we expected. So we looked for the cheapest flights and we found Turkey. And
we already been there.
We already been to that place. Last time we couldn't get a direct flight. This time there was a direct flight. And we were like, wow, since when do they have that direct flight? Because it's, like a more domestic airport in Turkey. It's not like Istanbul. Last time we had to do an overlay there and it was like a very long journey. But this time a direct flight. I was like, wow, it's so easy to get there now. And then we just camped there in the same camp that we have been 2 years ago. And the focus was really on just physical activity, like a healthy living. And for me also a spiritual reconnection, because I knew this is going to be spiritual for me, because the place has my heart. It has already won my heart. We always said we want to go back there. We didn't know when, but this time we were really called back and we went.
It happened. It really happened.
Yes. And we stayed at a camp. It was really high up a mountain, so we had to hike down and hike back up to go to the beach. And this hike itself taught me so much about being present and the breath. that the breath is putting you into the presence. And something that is so profound about living in the presence is it grants you perseverance.
Let's keep pushing.
Let's keep it pushing. Every single moment you're there fully. And because of that moment after moment after moment, you're there for the long run. It's like a long time thing, a long time thinking. Like you save your spirit and use it more effectively, more intentionally is when you really breathe consciously and hike. You are facing your breath. And I was faced that my breath was so deeply trapped in a stress programming. And I know about all these things. I know about breath work. I know I have the tools, but I was just stuck. Like I really couldn't help myself out of there.
The thing is, sorry to interrupt you, but I think also we can know it like with our conscious, but the hardest part is always about the subconscious, because the subconscious doesn't know a lot of things, you know. And the journey is really like to program it into your conscious and then program it into your subconscious, so it becomes your essence.
The roots. Grow the roots.
Yes, you can always change the roots, but to get to the roots, you have to dig through a lot of dirt, you know.
Yes, and it takes a lot of strength to grow strong roots. Your foundation.
The deeper you go, the harder it's to bring out dirt.
Yes, but also the higher you grow.
Exactly.
Love these metaphors. Very nice. Just like the hiking also was a metaphor itself. And I was facing my stress programming, meaning I realized my breath was so shallow. The first time I walked back up the mountain, I had a panic attack. Because, like, it really came out of nowhere, because I was really in a situation where I realized, I said, I can't anymore. I said, I can't go up anymore. I said, I'm done. Because I felt physically in my body, if I continue breathing like this, I literally can't, because I will get a panic attack and I will collapse. So that was sent to my brain, and that's what I said, but it was like fueling each other, the total leg programming. Because I already used all my breath the first 30 seconds with my shallow breathing.
Yes.
Say what you wanted to say.
I was just thinking like, I think there are many situations in relationships where the feminine is having a problem and the masculine just wants to solve the problem, you know. And I was just thinking that if maybe some
you literally gave me advice.
Fellow masculines are listening, like I think it's the masculine, you know, because it can be the man or the woman as well.
Yeah, the masculine energy just wants to solve the problem.
So for the masculine energy, or for a lot of people, I think mostly men have a lot of masculine energy, but it's not 100% the case. Sometimes it's not the solution to give the solution, you know. And that's what I also had to learn, because I was like, yeah, just keep pushing, like you can do whatever you want, just breathe.
He told me you can do whatever you want, and I know damn well I can't.
And she's like, I don't want to listen to that right now. I'm like, okay. I did what I did.
Hey, I was fed up.
But yeah, sometimes the thing is, that was your like subconscious talking to me, you know? Your conscious is like, I know I can breathe, blah, blah, but your subconscious is like, this something completely different. So
yes, absolutely right.
When you start to observe your own subconscious, you'll be like, okay, what is she talking right now? Is that true? I have to check that. No, I can breathe. And then the second time we went upstairs,
The second time was so powerful. I went up because even though I panicked at the first time, I hyperventilated, I sat down and took a break and cried. I still made it.
Of course. Then your brain's like, I made it. It was hard, but I made it. So it's possible.
Yes. And with that mentality, I went up. And I knew because it was possible that, okay, let me look at my toolbox. Like, what do I got to do to make this easier this time? My brain looking for the solution. This is also how the brain itself just works, and also how habits are being created, is when you just keep it pushing through the hard times. And then your brain already understood, okay, I know how to find solutions easier this time. So I did that, and I just breathed so deeply. I took your advice. You said, don't breathe through your mouth. And it helped me so much. And I could tell in the first few meters, it was very easy to open your mouth and breathe through your mouth to get more air, but I kept it closed. So I realized, okay, breathe deeper through your nose. Like, just go slower if you have to. This is your invitation to breathe. This is your invitation to breathe.
Bless your breath, man. I think really like probably 95% of people on this earth still don't know how to breathe properly.
Hey, I didn't know how to breathe properly. I was one of them. And you really reminded me, like we talked earlier, or like earlier episodes, you are truly a master of breath, and it really shows in your life. You're very in control over your body. Me, sometimes I forget. It's also very dependent on what cycle I'm on, how the hormones are working in my body. I was one of the people, of the 89% who didn't know how to breathe. So thank you for guiding me to my power in that situation, because ultimately I reclaimed my power, but you guided me, and I'm really grateful for that.
Of course.
So the next time we went up the hill, I really connected so deeply to my breath, and I just stood and also looked where we at. That's really also a spiritual practice when you're hiking, is just stand and look and really preserve the moment. The whole experience shows you how to preserve your spirit, your energy, how your breath guides you to the top, that you're supposed to be mindful about the whole experience. And it just teaches you presence. And it's so rewarding to then arrive at your destination. And then you kind of want to do it again. So
and you become addicted to it.
Yeah.
Yes. Can really get addicted to everything. That's why life is so funny, you know? Because we all out here being addicted to something. Some people are addicted to the good thing, some people are addicted to the bad thing, but in the end, addiction is a kind of addiction. Like, you can be addicted to learning, you can be addicted to cleaning, you can be addicted to crack, you can be addicted to whatever, you know. But
bread.
I just think that... What?
Egg milk. Bread.
You can be addicted to bread 1000%. But I just still, that's why I love to reprogram myself, you know, because I'm thinking, okay, if I have to be addicted to something, then I choose the right thing. You know, I program myself to be addicted to learning. I program myself to be addicted to success. I program myself to be addicted to becoming better, you know. In the end, I have to be addicted to something. But I just choose something that is going to push me into the highest heights, because why not? You know, I'm just living here. Like, I'm just playing this game, and why not play it from the highest level possible? if I have to play it anyways, of course you can play it from any level. It doesn't matter in the end, you know?
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter because...
It's truly just up to you what you want to make out of your life.
And that's why I'm just thinking like, that's what we're always talking about. That's why I was also talking, that was what I was trying to say before. When you talked about now you know like to who you're talking to, because I'm just thinking all the time, like I'm talking to the chosen ones all the time. And I think also like the Matrix just takes a word and then makes something out of it, because almost everyone is talking about chosen. But what I also mean with chosen one is that it's not that some people are better or worse than somebody, but it's really just some people will truly feel enlightened by what you say, and some people will be like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't get what they're talking about. They just, because they're on a completely different frequency.
They never choose themselves.
Yeah, but also, I'm just thinking that doesn't mean that they're better or worse. They're just playing a completely different game.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. In the end, it doesn't matter which game you play, but I choose to play this game. And if you want to play with us, play with us. If you don't want to play with us, play your game. I don't care. As long as you don't.
You can really choose whatever.
Yeah. But automatically, many people will choose different things, and these groups will build, you know. There are going to be groups of people who are at the highest level.
Bubbles.
There are groups of people who will be drug addicts. There are groups of people who will be whatever. Like, automatically we find our peers, you know. There's nothing we can do about it, I think.
I mean, very old scriptures also talk about the different dimensions of the human experience. And they can also be explained as such, like in Buddhism. Mm-hmm. The different layers of existence.
Yeah, there are 1,000 worlds. Like there are 10 worlds, and every 10 world also has 100 worlds. So there are 1,000.
You're somewhere in there.
You just
your soul chooses.
You're switching all the time, you know, between those. So you're experiencing this. Like that's also the funny thing about.
We talk about it so without explaining anything.
Yeah, I would say like that's the funny thing about like the fake spirituality, you know, because fake spirituality is always trying to only keep you at this, it's like it's just like religion. They want to sell you something.
Yeah, so it's also very
like free from one side of the duality. But there's
escapism.
There's always going to be both sides of the duality. It's just like, there's always two sides of the duality, but most of the people just don't realize that these two sides are connected, and they always like bounce back and forth. It's like you can never be only happy or only sad, but just the bouncing between both of them is a whole different state, you know?
Yeah, what's also different between fake spirituality and real spirituality is just the understanding of universal truth. Like we just talked about the little aspect in Buddhism of the different realities of human existence. If you understand universal truth, even though we just talk a bit about it, you understand it. Because it is all connected through universal truth that the soul understands. And if you don't understand universal truths with your soul, then you will automatically fall into concepts if you still want to believe something. And that is fake. It's like not perceived from a higher consciousness that spirituality is all about, but it is perceived from a trapped three-dimensional physical mental understanding. If you get what I'm saying.
That's what I mean. Like, some people won't get it now. Some people will get it in 2 years when they watch the video. Some people will never get it in their life, you know?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that truth is not truth. Like, that's the thing. We are not talking about human truths. We are mostly talking about universal truth. Like, it's just truth no matter on which planet you exist.
Yes.
Like, you can exist on Mars, on some Andromeda galaxy planet somewhere else. I don't give a damn. Like, this truth's gonna be this truth, you know. But we're just trying to put into human language because that's what we speak.
Yes.
And that's what most people know about. But
that's also our purpose.
Energy is louder than just words. Like, energy fill the words. The words is just like a vessel for something.
It is the purpose of every human being to be a vessel for something. A vessel for whatever existence your soul has chosen for you to have in this life.
To be human is so interesting.
It's so complex. It is so fragile too. It is so comical. It is so real and unreal at the same time. Being human. How is that possible? Emotions, they are so deep. They are the codes of this universe. Just look at the water. What happens to water when you speak emotion to it? You see the codes of the universe. Isn't that so funny?
Yes. And also I wanted to add something to the water topic before, because did we say that how you can heal the water? Like I was.
No, we didn't refer.
I think I was talking about the pipes and stuff, but like you can make tests, or you see the structure of the water crystal changes. For example, when you say positive things to the water or negative things to the water, or ignore the water at all.
Which is also an emotion.
Exactly,
Neglect.
like abandonment.
Neglect.
Yeah, neglect, abandonment, like, and that's also the most hurtful thing you can do to the water, because those who they did a test, for example, they talked to three different waters. It's a test by Emoto. You can look it up, I think. And there was one water, I think, that just said, thank you, I love you, just a lot of positive things. Then there was one water, they said a lot of negative things. And then there was also one water that they completely ignored.
And that water did the worst, structure-wise.
I think the water just completely died. Like it
was molded horrible. Or something.
That's the water. And
emotional king.
I think that's the water that's running around here in the pipes. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
I completely neglected it. That's why I both like 2 seconds.
Damn, and insulted too. Even the combination.
Hey, brother, I don't want to listen what they tell this water, man. They be like, fuck you, water, hate you.
Bless the water.
That's the thing. Everything you say contains an energy, no? We talked about this in another episode. I can say like, ha, 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 fuck you. And that's just a joke energy, that's a high frequency. I can be really angry, and when I mean it, there's some information in what I say, because you feel this and respond to it in some way. When I say I love you, you say I love you too, how you feel this energy. When I say fuck you, you also get into a fight mode, So literally, you see that there's energy in what you say. It's not the word itself, but because people, they be at home, they be like, thank you, yeah, this water's not changing. You have to appreciate the water, man, not just say thank you. Like, what's going to change when I just say thank you. Like, you really have to appreciate from your heart, So you give the water literal energy.
Rise up a bit.
And then, of course, the water changes its structure. Like, it's 1 + 1 is 2. But
for
people, that's the thing. You have to believe it. So the funny thing is then
God forms.
You can then ask yourself, if you believe it so much, doesn't matter if it happened or not.
I mean, it will happen if you believe it.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it will happen either way. But you will never know if it just happened because you believe it or if it really changes. But it doesn't matter. That's how you manifest. You believe something so hard. And that's why I once said, like, you have to be delusional until you get to your point.
I just thought people probably think we're like, people who don't understand us probably think we're like psychotic or something. But continue.
Some people will. I don't go
continue.
Everyone lives in their own world anyway. So when you believe something so delusional, for example, a Kanye West that believes he's going to be the greatest.
He believes whatever. He believes whatever.
And so many people doubted him for that. Like, a lot of people also didn't know his first album dropped when he was 27, That's kind of, not late, there's no late or early in this universe. There's only now. But still, for the Matrix, it's an age
Crazy
where
that they say that it's late 27. It's crazy to me.
A lot of people would say like that's an old age. But I'm just thinking, I lost my point. Where did I start it?
Delusional.
Yes, delusional. Like, if you believe something so hard, you start to see that in the world, you know? And that's why I say, like, if you're not crazy, you're normal. And if you're normal, you're crazy. Because every one of us is crazy in their own way, you know? The crackheads outside there are definitely crazy, but we're also crazy. Because in the end, we all live in our own world. So we all just believe what we see. It doesn't even matter what you see. For example, last night when you was triggered when I was laying in bed, it didn't matter what I said or didn't say or how I looked, whatever. But you believed what you believed, you know, because your brain told you like, yeah, cause he ignores you, he doesn't like you, whatever. And then you feel offended by it.
Yes, just like when I say I feel like you're annoyed by me, I'm just annoyed myself. I know it. My subconscious doesn't. Thank you for your grace.
No problem. And yeah, that's a funny thing because we all just, it's so difficult, you know, because you have to literally, how do you say it? You have to question whatever you see, whatever you hear. You have to question yourself. And it's so hard to question yourself, you know?
It's so exhausting. Like, can I live?
It's so hard to question yourself. And that's why a lot of people
Can I just
change.
be a girl?
A lot of people cannot change, you know?
I know, it's
because
hard.
It's the hardest to question.
They don't
yourself.
have the perseverance of the breath, of the conscious breath, the presence.
And that's why I program myself to always question myself.
Honestly, for my mental health, sometimes I rather don't question my choices.
Yeah,
that's exactly why that's why I empathize with everyone.
Yeah,
because I'm here. You might be there, but other people are here. We ball regardless.
Yes. Having lots of fun.
Me too. I love this short break.
We were outside and there was a fat guy who bumped into Lizzie on the street. And
that was like an angry guy. He was like, I'm chunky, I'm not moving directions for nobody.